Okay, for this activity, what we're going to do is design this red hub here. And this allows you to connect the wheel, which has 4 holes in it for the SAE Baja, to the rest of the vehicle. So the SAE Baja is a collegiate competition, as you can see here. And what we're going to be trying to do is design only this piece right here for this extra credit. Not even the rotor, just the part here that kind of has the plus shape to it. You know, we've kind of bought some other ones, but they're kind of big and a little bit too massive and not really all the same size as far as where the bearing goes. So we're going to try to design this red piece here that kind of looks like a plus sign with a big, circular disc in the middle. So let's get started using these hints here. So, well, not hints, but maybe engineering constraints. So 1.09 holes, we can start by doing that first. Now, this actually was not a great design, so I'm going to make a new one. And I'm going to draw a circle that's going to represent, I think eventually we're going to extrude. So let's draw a circle on here that's actually going to represent the hole. So right here, and then looking at the diameter like that, 1.19 inches for the hole that's going to be through the middle. Looking at that thing right there. Eventually, we're going to extrude it up to 1/2 inch if we feel like that would be good. Now, we do begin to need to add the outer part of this right here. We need to get, we have the hole already drawn, but let's make this a little bit bigger. It doesn't say how big it needs to be, so we can just ballpark it. And that's the thing about design. You get a chance to choose about what you think it should look like here. And I mean, we could certainly, try to dimension it and say maybe make it exactly 2. And does that look right? Maybe. Okay. Now the other thing is that we'll just kind of leave that there. We can always come back and modify it. We need to do these hole placements out here. And these are 0.44 diameter holes at a distance of 3.36 from the center. So that's a radius. So that means I need to come over here and set up a radius that is actually a construction line or a construction curve. And so I'm going to say for construction, it just needs to be a dotted line on which I'm going to place holes. Looking at smart dimension, need to come out here. Now that is not the diameter. So maybe what I can do is go from the center out here so that I am getting the diameter. Try it one more time. Not doing it, so exit out of there. Try it one more time. Going from the center to this right here. Not having much luck with that. Wonder why not. If I just click on this, okay, I'll try to exit the sketch and then go back and edit it again. So let's not do the extrude boss. Let's actually right click and, oh, I was still exiting there. So let's go edit. Let's see if we can get that diameter in now. Maybe we can move this off so there's no confusion about that and try this again. I want to go all the way to the center and it's still not letting me do that. So I'm just going to do it the hard way and say that it's 3.06 times 2 to get from radius to diameter. So I think it said 3.06 times 2. All right. So that puts it out there, and that's where the holes are going to be placed. Now we need to have the plus sign available, kind of the structure of the red plus right there. So let's begin to build some of that. I'm going to face it, how about this direction, like that? And so I need to put some structure out like that. Let me think about how I might want to do that. Well, let's just try to set up some rectangles that might represent that plus. Let's do a center rectangle from here out to there. And there's going to be a hole here and a hole there. I think I'm going to use this for construction, actually, not really. You kind of use that as the points on which I'm going to select from in my drawing. So these are going to be dotted lines for now, giving me a place to kind of connect to. Now I do know that I need a hole right there and there and there. So let's go ahead and place that hole. right there. I'm going to snap it onto this. We said that it's going to be 0.44 inches on the instructions. That's going to be the hole through which the bolt goes and mounts onto the wheel. Now, we need to multiply that out. So let's rotate that circular pattern and make a few more. And it's asking me, what do I want to rotate? And I want that one. And it kind of knows what I'm trying to do here. So I'll say, yep, you got it right. So that's pretty cool. Let's make sure we can get a little bit more space and more material out here. So maybe if I measure between there and there, I can say, I really want there to be a lot more there, maybe like half an inch out like that. And it does the same thing over here. Let's see if it'll let us do the same thing out here. I've had some trouble with this one before. 0.5. Yeah, looks like it did okay. And you know what? It might be too wide over here as well. So I really haven't specified the width on this. Maybe I can just make it 1 to see if it looks maybe a little too tight. Doesn't look too bad. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. And not letting me do it, so I hit escape. Come back over here again. And let's make that one 1 as well. So we're making that plus sign. Okay, well, let's see. How should we draw this in? What we could do is try to begin to draw with a visible line by, connecting from here. Can I get to the midpoint or something like that? Doesn't look like it's going to be easy to do that. So let me think about how else we could do it. Now looking at this, it looks like there's a little bit more material around the outside. So I'm going to increase that a little bit. And also my circle should be a little bit bigger over here. So we can go back and let's say double click on this one. Let's see if it looks better if it's like, 3 inches out there. That's a little bit better, right? And then right here, let's make that 1.5 instead. Just a little bit more material out there. How about 1.25? Does that look okay? Yeah, I think that might be all right. So we can change this one to 1.25. You can really use whatever dimensions you want on this one. You don't have to go with what I did. Looks like we might need to increase this a little bit. So 0.75. Maybe that's too much. 0.6. Yeah. I guess that's around right. Oh, and that totally messed it up there. So let's just go back to the 0.5 and leave it where it was. And you know what? What we could also do is let's just take those rectangles and let's just make them permanent. Can we go back to the rectangle where we sketched it? Let's see. This guy right here. That's actually a line. Okay, so yeah, let's just actually make that plus sign with the lines. So we trace this out going from there to there. It's going to let us do this intersection. No, it's going to let this do that. Doesn't really look like it. It'd be nice if we can be able to go right there. And then back up here, there, to here, to there. Just keep going all the way around. All right, so that gives us that typical shape. We do need to trim some of the extra stuff out. So maybe before we trim, we don't really need these cross members there and there. So I'm going to select them there and there. Okay, that's getting a little bit better. I guess when we want to trim, we don't really need those two things or those two. or those two, or those two, and here, and there, and there, and there. So now we have that typical shape that we need to extrude up. So I'm going to exit, but it didn't extrude, so I'll select it and then extrude. Let's go that 0.5 and see if we like that. Looks pretty good. Click OK. And then we need to have the final thing is a place to put the bearing on. The bearing needs to be 1.56 in diameter, 2-inch high cylinder coming out of the middle. So let's draw an extrude, and we're going to select this surface. We're going to draw a circle from the middle right there, hopefully out to there. Didn't seem to let us do that, so we'll try again. Circle, middle, snap to the orange, and also coming out here, this is going to be the 1.56 on which the bearing is going to rest. We need to extrude that out a distance of 2 inches. So I guess we hit exit and then type in 2 inches. All right, that's looking pretty good. It looks a little bit boxy. You notice how it has some curves to it. You can even drill these holes in there if you want to. Maybe I'll do that at the end. It'll be optional. Just basically trying to minimize the weight. We're going to put our fillets out here, which kind of puts some curve to it. Need a lot more than what I have there. So I'm going to say 0.75 and see what that looks like. Not too bad. Is that overkill? Yeah, maybe. So whatever width that was I had before, maybe it was 0.6. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And I can hold the mouse down and click on these edges like that. Or I can right click and say rotate view. And then right click again to unselect it to get that one and that one. So I got one more to go. So I could try this and say I need to be looking right there. And that wasn't great. So what I'll do instead is try to rotate again. Okay, it's looking really weird, but I really wanted to get to right there. That did not work, so I'm going to hit Control Z and make sure that I select the right edge right there. I like that. Looks pretty good. We can even put like something right there. That would be kind of interesting. And let's see if it has more style to it now. Certainly. The only problem is the bearing won't fit on there anymore, so maybe we don't need that last one. So let's edit the fillet. Yep. And then I think we can delete this one, or maybe it's on the list. Yeah, okay. And then if I do it again, that way the bearing will sit flat against here. I wonder if we could just make it just look a little bit better. Let's put just a little bit of curve here so it's not quite so sharp. That would be perhaps too much. Let's try 0.1 inch. And that looks a little softer. And then maybe we can do it around these edges here if you want to. Just to give it a little bit of style, less pointy, you know, on its to the touch, less sharp on those edges. And you can flip it over and, you know, put the fillets on the back side if you want to over there as well. Or you can leave them flat because they are going against the wheel. Okay, is there anything else we might want to add here? Seemed like there was something else. I guess what we could do is, if you want to, is to do, you know, let's save a little space and material, make it a little bit lightweight, drill some holes in there. So here's a new tool that I haven't really played around with that much until recently. And that is, let's see, we're going to do an extrude cut. We're going to select this surface. And I'm going to try this one. That one's kind of interesting. So we could, I guess, kind of arbitrarily place something here and there and kind of make a gap like this. It seems like it needs to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to just try again. And along this axis, maybe like right here to here, pull it out like that. And instead of making those 4 times, what I can do again is just rotate that pattern. It automatically knew what I was about to do. That's kind of cool. It knew I was going to do 4. And then we do exit and see if it's going to cut through there. I like going back to our isometric view so that we can see if it's cutting the right amount. Looks like it's cutting way too much, which is, I guess, okay. We knew that this is actually 0.5 in the thickness. And there you go. Now we have a hub, which is pretty lightweight. It might have some structural problems right in there, but it's something that we can test and make sure that it will not break under the rough terrain on which these Baja vehicles are going to be. All right, and just go ahead and upload the SolidWorks file to the Dropbox for credit.